There are moments in life when it feels like nothing is changing. You work hard, you stay disciplined, you keep showing up, yet the results you hoped for remain invisible. And in those moments, doubt begins to whisper dangerous questions into your mind. Is this even worth it? Am I really improving? Why does it seem like everyone else is moving faster than me? But growth has never depended on visibility. The most powerful transformations in life happen beneath the surface long before they appear in reality. A tree does not break through the ground the same day the seed is planted. For a long time, all the work is happening underground. Roots are expanding, strength is developing, stability is forming. Nothing looks different on the outside, but everything is changing underneath. People quit too early because they judge progress only by what they can see. They only trust movement when applause arrives. They only believe in growth when results become public. But real growth is quieter than that. It happens in your discipline. It happens in the mornings nobody sees. It happens every time you choose consistency over comfort. Every decision you make is shaping the person you are becoming. You may not see the results today, but your habits are building a future version of you. The gym does not change the body after one workout. Reading one book does not suddenly create wisdom. One difficult conversation does not instantly build confidence, but repeated actions create invisible momentum. Day after day, your character is being trained, your mindset is evolving, your resilience is increasing, and eventually the invisible work becomes impossible to hide. Most people underestimate the power of small daily improvements because they are obsessed with immediate outcomes. They want proof before commitment. They want certainty before effort. But leadership requires faith in the process, even when the evidence is not visible yet. Sometimes life removes visible progress to strengthen internal belief. Because if you only move when results appear, your motivation will always depend on external validation. But when you continue despite uncertainty, you develop something stronger than motivation. You develop conviction. Conviction says, I know growth is happening even when I cannot measure it. There are seasons where life feels slow, not because you are failing, but because you are being prepared. Preparation is uncomfortable because it often looks like delay, but delay is not destruction. A slower season can build wisdom that success alone could never teach. It can build patience, emotional control, humility, and endurance, and those qualities become the foundation for lasting success. The world celebrates visible victories, but hidden growth creates them. Every successful person you admire spent years becoming someone before the world recognized them. Long before the audience appeared, they were developing discipline. Long before the opportunities arrived, they were preparing their mindset. Long before success became visible, growth was already happening. Do not confuse silence with stagnation. Just because nothing dramatic is happening around you does not mean nothing powerful is happening within you. Some of the greatest changes in your life are occurring in ways you cannot yet understand. Your perspective is changing. Your standards are rising. Your emotional strength is increasing. And one day you will look back and realize the person you became during the difficult season mattered more than the results you were chasing. Growth is not always loud. Sometimes it looks like surviving another difficult day without giving up. Sometimes it looks like choosing discipline when nobody would blame you for quitting. Sometimes it looks like continuing the journey without recognition, but every step matters. The people who eventually win are rarely the most talented at the beginning. They are the ones who kept growing during seasons when nothing seemed to happen. They understood that progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. So if you feel discouraged because you cannot see immediate results, remember this. The strongest foundations are built underground. The deepest transformations happen quietly. And the greatest version of yourself is not created overnight. Keep showing up, keep learning, keep building, because your growth does not stop just because you cannot see it. Growth often happens in silence before it appears in results. Most people never understand this because they have been trained to believe that success must always look visible, immediate, and loud. They think progress only matters when it can be measured, praised, or displayed to the world. But the truth is that the most important stages of transformation are almost always invisible in the beginning. The strongest roots grow underground long before a tree becomes tall enough for people to admire. Real growth works the same way. Every powerful achievement begins with unseen effort, long nights of discipline, quiet sacrifices, repeated failures, small improvements that nobody notices. These moments rarely receive applause, yet they are the very moments that shape a person into someone capable of carrying success without breaking under pressure. What looks like overnight success from the outside is often years of hidden preparation behind the scenes. People become discouraged because they compare their private struggles to someone else's public victories. They scroll through the achievements of others and wonder why their own life feels slow. But comparison destroys patience because it blinds people to their own progress. Someone else's chapter should never become the measurement of your worth. Your path requires its own timing because your growth is preparing you for responsibilities only you are meant to carry. Silence is often a sign that something important is developing. Muscles grow in recovery. Wisdom grows through reflection. Character grows through pressure. Confidence grows when you continue moving even without recognition. There are seasons where life appears still on the surface while deep internal transformation is taking place underneath. Those seasons are uncomfortable because human beings crave evidence. They want signs that their effort matters. They want immediate proof that they are becoming stronger. But growth does not always reveal itself right away. The process changes you before the results ever arrive. That is why discipline matters more than motivation. Motivation depends on feelings. Discipline depends on commitment. Feelings rise and fall, but commitment creates consistency, and consistency creates transformation. Every day you choose to keep going, you are training your mind to become stronger than temporary emotions. That kind of strength cannot be built through comfort. Many people quit because they misunderstand slow progress. They think slow means failure. It does not. Slow progress is still progress. In fact, the strongest foundations are built slowly because strength takes time. Anything built too quickly often collapses under pressure. Life is not only preparing opportunities for you, it is preparing you for the opportunities. That preparation requires patience. The world celebrates visible achievements but ignores invisible endurance. Yet, endurance is what separates those who dream from those who lead. Anyone can move forward when excitement is high and results are obvious. Very few people continue when nobody notices their effort. Very few people remain committed during uncertainty, but those are the moments that define a future leader. The ability to remain focused without external validation creates emotional resilience that success alone can never teach. There is power in becoming before arriving. Before a person leads others, they must first learn to lead themselves. Before a person influences the world, they must first develop control over their habits, mindset, and decisions. Internal growth always comes before external impact. The outer world eventually reflects the inner work that was repeated consistently over time. You may feel like your effort is unnoticed right now. You may feel like the results are delayed. But delay does not mean denial. The work you are doing today is shaping the person you will become tomorrow. Every disciplined action is creating momentum, even if you cannot yet see the outcome. Growth is happening in every challenge you survive, every lesson you learn, and every moment you choose not to give up. One day the results will appear and people will call it success. But you will know the truth. The real victory began long before anyone could see it. The strongest transformation begins when nobody is watching. Real change is never built for attention in the beginning. It starts in private moments, inside quiet decisions, during hours when there is no audience to applaud the effort. Most people admire confidence, discipline, leadership, and success, but very few understand the lonely process required to build those qualities. What people celebrate publicly is usually the result of years spent growing silently behind closed doors. The world often teaches people to perform instead of transform. Many become focused on appearing successful rather than becoming strong. They chase validation before building character. They want recognition before responsibility. But lasting growth does not begin with applause. It begins with honesty. Honesty about weaknesses, honesty about fears, honesty about the habits that are keeping a person trapped in the same cycle. Transformation starts the moment someone decides to stop pretending and starts working on themselves when nobody else is paying attention. There is a difference between motivation and identity. Motivation creates temporary action. Identity creates permanent change. A person who only works hard when others are watching is depending on external pressure to stay consistent. But a person who continues improving in silence is building a new identity. That person no longer needs attention to move forward because growth has become personal. Discipline becomes part of who they are instead of something they occasionally practice. The hardest battles are not fought in public. They happen internally. Waking up when the mind wants comfort, staying focused when distractions feel easier, continuing after failure instead of quitting, choosing patience when results feel delayed. Those moments rarely look dramatic from the outside, but they shape the future more than people realize. Every private decision is creating the person you will eventually become. A A strong mind is not built in easy seasons. It is built in moments where nobody would blame you for giving up, yet you continue anyway. That is where resilience is born. Pressure reveals habits, mindset, and emotional strength. When nobody is watching, there are no rewards for pretending. There is only the truth of who you are and who you are willing to become. Quiet effort exposes commitment because real discipline does not need an audience. Many people want visible success without invisible sacrifice. They want confidence without discomfort. They want growth without consistency. But transformation demands repetition. It demands small actions repeated over and over again until they shape character. Reading daily sharpens thinking. Exercise strengthens discipline. Reflection increases self-awareness. Every repeated action leaves a mark on the mind. Over time, those small choices create massive change. The danger of seeking constant validation is that it weakens internal belief. When someone depends on praise to stay motivated, they lose direction the moment recognition disappears. But when growth becomes internal, the process itself becomes rewarding. Progress no longer depends on applause because purpose becomes stronger than attention. That is the moment a person becomes unstoppable. Not because life becomes easier, but because their commitment becomes deeper. Every successful leader understands the value of preparation in silence. Before influence comes self-control. Before impact comes discipline. Before leadership comes responsibility. The public may only see the final achievement, but the private process is where the real transformation occurred. Long before victories become visible, habits are being formed in darkness. Confidence is being built through repetition. Strength is being developed through struggle. There are moments where it feels like nobody notices your effort. Those moments matter more than you think. Character is revealed by what a person does without supervision. Integrity is proven by consistency without reward. The strongest individuals continue working even when results are delayed because they understand that every action is planting seeds for a future they cannot fully see yet. Transformation is not a single breakthrough moment. It is a series of quiet decisions made daily. Choosing growth over excuses, choosing responsibility over blame, choosing consistency over comfort. Most people underestimate how powerful these small choices become over time. But eventually the invisible work changes everything. One day people will notice your confidence, your discipline, your strength, and your mindset. They will see the visible results and call it success. What they will never fully see are the silent moments that created it. The nights you kept going without encouragement, the mornings you stayed committed without motivation, the private battles you fought to become stronger. That is where the real transformation began. Patience is not waiting without action. It is trusting the process while continuing to move. Most people misunderstand patience because they confuse it with standing still. They believe patience means doing nothing until life changes on its own. But real patience has never been passive. Patience is disciplined movement during seasons where results are still invisible. It is the decision to keep building even when progress feels slow. It is the ability to remain committed while uncertainty tries to convince you to quit. Anyone can stay focused when rewards arrive quickly. Anyone can feel motivated when success is immediate. But true character is revealed when effort is required long before results appear. That is where patience becomes powerful. Patience is not weakness. It is emotional strength under pressure. It is the refusal to allow temporary frustration to destroy long-term vision. The problem is that modern culture trains people to expect instant results. Faster success, faster recognition, faster rewards. People have become uncomfortable with slow growth because they compare their timeline to everyone around them. They see somebody else succeeding and begin questioning their own progress. Doubt enters the mind when expectations move faster than reality. But growth does not follow human impatience. Some things require time because strength cannot be rushed. A strong foundation is built slowly. Leadership develops slowly, wisdom develops slowly, confidence develops slowly. The most valuable qualities in life are created through repetition, consistency, and endurance. If success arrived before the necessary growth, many people would collapse under the weight of responsibility they were never prepared to carry. Patience means understanding that preparation matters as much as arrival. There are seasons in life where it feels like your effort is producing nothing. You continue learning, working, sacrificing, improving, and showing up every day. Yet nothing dramatic seems to change. Those are the moments where most people give up. Not because they are incapable, but because they lose trust in the process. They stop moving because they cannot yet see evidence of progress. But progress is often invisible before it becomes undeniable. A seed does not grow into a tree overnight. For a long time, growth is happening underground where nobody can see it. Roots are expanding, stability is developing, strength is forming beneath the surface. Human growth works the same way. Your mindset, discipline, emotional resilience, and character are all developing internally before external success begins to appear. Every day you continue despite uncertainty, you are becoming stronger than the version of yourself that wanted immediate results. Patience teaches emotional control. It teaches focus. It teaches resilience. It forces you to build faith in your effort even before rewards arrive. And that internal belief becomes one of the most powerful forms of confidence a person can develop. People who lack patience often abandon their purpose too early. They expect transformation after a few attempts. They want visible change after minimal discomfort. But lasting transformation requires endurance. Success is rarely about one dramatic moment. It is usually the result of small, disciplined actions repeated consistently over long periods of time. The person who keeps moving eventually separates themselves from the person who keeps restarting. Patience also changes the way you experience failure. Instead of seeing setbacks as proof to quit, patient people see them as part of the process. They understand that mistakes are not interruptions to growth, they are growth. Every difficult season carries lessons that comfort could never teach. Every delay develops maturity that immediate success could never create. There is power in continuing without guarantees. That is where real trust is built. Not trust that everything will happen exactly when you want it to, but trust that consistent effort always creates change over time. Even when results are delayed, your discipline is shaping your future identity. Every action matters, every habit matters, every decision matters. Patience is not about standing still hoping life improves. It is about continuing to move with belief even when the road feels uncertain. It is waking up and showing up again. It is learning when progress feels slow. It is staying disciplined when motivation disappears. It is understanding that growth is happening even during seasons where nothing appears to change. One day people will notice the success, the confidence, and the results. But what they may never fully understand is the patience required to create it, the quiet endurance, the repeated effort, the decision to continue moving while trusting a process that could not yet be seen. That is what real patience looks like. Every difficult season is preparing you for a greater level of responsibility. Most people only see pain when they go through hard times. They see delays, pressure, disappointment, and uncertainty. They ask why life became difficult instead of asking what the difficulty is trying to develop within them. But struggle is often preparation in disguise. The seasons that test you the most are usually the seasons shaping you into someone capable of carrying more than you could before. Easy seasons rarely transform people. Comfort can make a person passive, convenience can weaken discipline, but pressure reveals character. Challenges expose emotional strength, patience, focus, and resilience. Difficult moments force people to grow beyond the limits they once believed defined them. Without pressure, many people would never discover the strength they are capable of developing. Life does not only give responsibility to people who desire success, it gives responsibility to people who are prepared for it. Preparation requires growth, and growth is rarely comfortable. A person cannot lead others effectively without first learning how to control themselves during difficult moments. Emotional stability, discipline, and wisdom are not developed during perfect conditions. They are built when circumstances become difficult and a person chooses to continue anyway. Many people pray for bigger opportunities while resisting the process that prepares them for those opportunities. They want influence without discipline. They want success without endurance. They want growth without discomfort. But responsibility demands maturity. If greater opportunities arrive before a person developed the mindset to handle them, success itself could become destructive. Hard seasons teach lessons comfort never could. Failure teaches humility, delays teach patience, pressure teaches endurance, rejection teaches self-belief, loss teaches gratitude. Every difficult experience leaves behind wisdom for the person willing to learn from it. The pain may not make sense immediately, but over time the lessons become clear. What once felt like destruction was often preparation for a stronger future identity. There are moments in life where everything feels uncertain. Plans fail, doors close, progress feels invisible. During those seasons, people often assume they are falling behind. But some delays are not punishment. Some delays are protection. Life sometimes slows you down because your character needs development before your future can expand safely. Strength without wisdom becomes dangerous. Ambition without discipline becomes unstable. Confidence without humility becomes arrogance. Difficult seasons create balance within a person. They shape emotional maturity and develop the ability to remain steady under pressure. Those qualities become essential when greater responsibility eventually arrives. The strongest people are not those who avoided struggle. They are the ones who learned how to grow through it. Every challenge survived increases emotional endurance. Every setback overcomes strengthens belief. Every difficult season builds layers of resilience that become part of a person's identity. Over time, pain stops controlling them because pressure has already trained them to remain focused during uncertainty. One of the greatest mistakes people make is assuming growth should always feel positive. Real growth often feels uncomfortable because it requires leaving behind old habits, old fears, and old ways of thinking. Transformation demands change, and change creates resistance. But resistance is not proof that you are failing. Resistance is often proof that you are evolving. A person who has never experienced hardship may lack the emotional depth required to lead others with wisdom. Difficult seasons create empathy. They create perspective. They teach people how to remain grounded during success because they remember what struggle felt like. Those experiences shape leaders who understand both pressure and perseverance. Even when you cannot fully understand the purpose of your current struggle, trust that something is being built inside you. Your mindset is becoming stronger, your discipline is becoming deeper, your patience is expanding. The difficult season may feel heavy now, but it is developing qualities that will support your future long after the struggle ends. Many breakthroughs happen after seasons where people felt like giving up, not because life suddenly became easier, but because the process transformed them into someone ready for greater responsibility. The challenge was never only about achieving success. It was about becoming the kind of person capable of handling success with wisdom, discipline, and strength. One day you will look back at the season that almost broke you and realize it actually built you. The pressure strengthened your mindset. The delays deepened your patience. The struggles increased your resilience. What felt painful in the moment became part of the foundation that prepared you for the next level of your life. Every difficult season carries hidden preparation within it. And every challenge you survive is shaping you into someone stronger than you were before. Progress is measured by who you are becoming, not only by what you achieve. Most people spend their lives chasing visible success while ignoring the internal transformation required to sustain it. They measure their worth through money, titles, recognition, followers, or achievements. And while accomplishments can be meaningful, they were never designed to define the full value of a person. Because success without growth can still leave someone empty, unstable, and disconnected from purpose. Real progress begins internally before it ever becomes visible externally. The world celebrates outcomes because outcomes are easy to see. A promotion can be seen, wealth can be seen, awards can be seen. But discipline, emotional maturity, resilience, integrity, and wisdom are often invisible qualities. Yet those invisible qualities are what determine whether success becomes lasting or temporary. Achievements may change your circumstances, but character determines how you handle those circumstances once they arrive. Many people become obsessed with reaching goals while neglecting the person they are becoming in the process. They sacrifice peace for status. They lose integrity for attention. They compromise values just to move faster. But achievement without alignment eventually creates regret. There is no real victory in gaining everything externally while losing yourself internally. Growth changes more than results. It changes perspective. A person who is truly progressing begins to think differently. They respond differently under pressure. They become less controlled by fear, insecurity, and comparison. They stop needing constant validation because confidence begins growing from within instead of depending on outside approval. That kind of progress cannot always be measured by numbers, but it changes every area of life. The strongest transformations often happen quietly. You become more patient during difficult conversations. You develop discipline even when motivation disappears. You gain emotional control during stressful moments. You learn how to remain focused while others panic. These changes may not look dramatic from the outside, but they represent deep personal growth. The person you are becoming matters more than temporary applause. Goals are important because they give direction, but goals alone cannot create fulfillment. Fulfillment comes from becoming someone you respect while pursuing those goals. It comes from knowing that your growth is shaping your character, not just your reputation. Because reputation is what people think about you. Character is who you truly are. When nobody is watching, many people reach milestones and still feel incomplete because they believed achievement would automatically create identity. But identity is not built through external rewards. It is built through daily habits, consistent values, and repeated choices. Every decision you make is either strengthening or weakening the person you are becoming. Progress is not only about reaching destinations, it's about evolving during the journey. Life has a way of testing internal growth before rewarding external success. Pressure reveals emotional maturity. Failure reveals humility. Delays reveal patience. Criticism reveals confidence. Difficult moments expose whether your strength is real or only dependent on comfort. Those experiences are not interruptions to your growth, they are part of the process, shaping you into someone stronger. The danger of only chasing achievements is that achievements never stop moving. Once one goal is reached, another appears. If your identity depends completely on accomplishment, peace will always remain temporary. But when progress is connected to personal growth, fulfillment becomes deeper because you are not only building success, you are building yourself. A disciplined person is progressing even before visible rewards appear. A patient person is progressing even during delays. A resilient person is progressing even after failure. Growth can exist long before recognition arrives. In fact, the greatest internal changes usually happen during seasons where nothing dramatic seems to be happening externally. Every challenge you face is shaping your identity. Every difficult season is teaching lessons that success alone could never provide. The struggles are developing wisdom. The setbacks are strengthening endurance. The quiet seasons are building emotional depth. Over time, these experiences create a version of you that is wiser, calmer, stronger, and more prepared for greater responsibility. One day, people may notice your achievements and celebrate your success. But the most meaningful victory will not be what you gained. It will be who you became while earning it, the patience you developed, the discipline you maintained, the integrity you protected, the mindset you strengthened. Because at the end of the journey, true progress is never measured only by what you achieved. It is measured by the person you had the courage to become. The person who keeps going without visible rewards develops unstoppable strength. Most people are motivated by results. They work hard when progress is obvious, when praise is immediate, and when success feels close enough to touch. But the true test of character begins when effort no longer produces instant rewards. That is the moment where commitment becomes real. That is where mental strength is either built or broken. Anyone can stay focused during exciting seasons. Anyone can feel confident when opportunities are appearing and recognition is growing. But the strongest individuals are the ones who continue moving during silent seasons. They keep learning when nobody notices. They stay disciplined when nobody applauds. They continue showing up even when there is no evidence yet that their hard work will pay off. That kind of consistency creates a level of emotional strength most people never develop. The world often teaches people to connect effort with immediate reward. Work hard and success should come quickly. Stay disciplined and results should appear instantly. But life does not always operate on human timelines. Some of the most important growth happens during seasons where nothing seems to be changing externally. Those seasons feel frustrating because human beings naturally crave validation. They want proof that their sacrifices matter. They want reassurance that the struggle is leading somewhere meaningful. But invisible progress is still progress. A seed underground looks lifeless before it breaks through the surface. Yet beneath the ground, roots are spreading, strength is forming, and growth is happening quietly. Human development works the same way. Discipline, resilience, patience, and emotional maturity are often being built long before success becomes visible to others. The person who understands this keeps moving even when external rewards are delayed. Delayed rewards build stronger people than instant rewards ever could. When someone continues without recognition, they develop internal belief instead of dependence on applause. They learn how to trust their values, habits, and purpose without needing constant approval from the outside world. That kind of confidence becomes unshakable because it is built from conviction rather than attention. Most people quit too early because they only trust visible progress. They assume nothing is happening because results have not appeared yet. But growth is often happening internally before it ever appears externally. Your mindset is changing, your endurance is increasing, your discipline is becoming stronger. Every difficult day you survive without giving up is developing emotional resilience that comfort could never teach. There is power in continuing without guarantees. The ability to remain committed during uncertainty separates leaders from followers. Followers depend on motivation. Leaders depend on discipline. Followers stop when excitement disappears. Leaders continue because they understand that consistency matters more than temporary emotion. Real strength is not measured by how someone performs during easy moments. It is measured by how they respond when the journey becomes difficult and rewards become invisible. Every quiet season is training something inside you. The struggle is increasing your endurance. The delay is strengthening your patience. The uncertainty is teaching you how to trust the process, even when you cannot fully understand it yet. Those lessons are shaping a stronger identity within you. Over time, you become less controlled by fear, doubt, and comparison, because your confidence is no longer based only on visible success. People often admire strength without understanding where it comes from. They seek calmness under pressure, discipline during chaos, and confidence during uncertainty. What they do not see are the years of invisible effort that created those qualities. Strength is built in private moments. It grows every time a person chooses consistency over comfort. It grows when someone refuses to quit despite feeling discouraged. It grows during nights where progress feels slow, but discipline remains strong. One of the greatest dangers in life is becoming dependent on rewards for motivation. Because the moment rewards disappear, direction disappears too. But when a person learns to move without constant validation, they become emotionally independent. Their purpose becomes stronger than temporary feelings. Their commitment becomes deeper than external recognition. That is where unstoppable strength begins. Not in moments of applause, but in moments of silence. Not when success feels easy, but when persistence feels difficult. Not when rewards are guaranteed, but when belief is required despite uncertainty. The people who eventually achieve extraordinary things are rarely the ones who had the easiest path. They are often the ones who developed endurance during seasons where nobody noticed their effort. They learned how to keep moving without visible rewards. They learned how to trust growth before it became visible. And through that process, they developed a mindset that obstacles could no longer control. One day, the results may finally appear. People may call it talent, luck, or success. But the real victory happened long before anyone saw the outcome. The real victory was becoming someone strong enough to continue when nothing around you suggested you should.